Another big issue that you see that you speak to many people with on a regular basis is problems, issues with escrow. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the amount of stories that we have heard from people struggling with escrow issues with their servicers?
I can't even answer that question. The number of stories that I've heard and the craziness that you and I have seen it's sickening. I think that the common denominator of every single person who's dealing with an escrow thing is utter confusion and a feeling of hopelessness. Because every single person who contacts me and who contacts you, I'm sure too, Bobby, has been gaslit by their mortgage servicer for so long that their head is spinning. And you and I have seen just out of control, nutty escrow statements where the mortgage went up, double from $3,000 to $6,000 a month. And when the client has spoken to the mortgage servicer saying, what is going on? They're just, they're just staring at a computer screen saying what they see and reassuring the poor borrower that they do, in fact, owe double their mortgage payment because that's what the computer says. No, these mortgage servicing platforms are just computer systems, and escrow is complicated, and the computer systems get them wrong. And so escrow problems lead to people just burying their head because they don't know what to do. And they speak to most attorneys and most non-attorneys who pretend to know what they're doing. And they're like, wow, if that's what the mortgage company says, I guess you owe it. No. Here's the issue, though. Who knows how to dive into and fix those escrow problems? As far as I know, Bobby, I couldn't do it without you. You dive into it. But at the very top level, initial thing that you need to look at, anybody needs to look at, is you need to look at your annual escrow statement for the last couple of years. For the borrowers out there, it comes once a year. I think on the anniversary of your loan, where they go through and explain what your escrow balances are and how they came to those numbers. And you got to look at your mortgage statements. You got to look at your pay history. And is that hard to do? Yeah, it's hard to do because you're reading the matrix. But it's a necessary first step. And you probably need help reading those documents. But that's where to start. Those escrow violation cases can be very valuable to the consumer because it is impossible for the mortgage company to fix the problem that they've created because the problem is basic, fundamental to the computer systems they use. And when you're speaking to the frontline defense of the mortgage servicer, you're speaking to the human, they're just reading from a computer screen. They have no ability to understand what it means. They have no ability to fix it. They have no ability to talk to the decision makers who can fix it. You might as well be yelling at a brick wall. And I'm sorry, that's just what it is. So when you get these escrow problems, calm down, recognize the fact that you are not insane and you are almost certainly right. And you need to find someone in your jurisdiction who's going to slowly and calmly explain to you how the system works and how it gets fixed. And how it gets fixed is too broad a topic to go through right now. It's too big.
Yeah. And then for those attorneys that are listening, you have to listen to those clients or potential clients. It is absolutely insane what happens on some of these issues. But like you said, it is very nuanced rules, and the math is arguable here and there. But the people aren't crazy. We had one of your cases recently. The guy has been trying to make his mortgage payment, making every single payment per his mortgage statement, and like you said, from one day to the next, his payment went from like $3,000 to $6,000, but nobody did anything wrong, right? They're nuanced cases, but yeah, thanks for that response.
But for the attorneys watching, I want to follow up to that. Your client is not crazy. do the work diving in, because if there is a fundamental perception by the courts and by society in general about banks, it's that banking disclosures and mortgage statements are always right. And if they're wrong, you got yourself a case worth diving into. Got yourself a case worth diving into. Jury or jurors are pissed about that. Judges hate it. If you can prove they're wrong, you've got yourself a case that's worth investing in.